It is so weird for me to hear about somebody preparing for a funeral, for their own funeral, when they're like 20 years old. That is absolutely crazy to me. You should be preparing for a funeral when you're super duper old and close to death, when your health is declining and there is the natural process of the world of death ever looming above you. It's not when you're 20 in your almost prime years and getting ready to actually experience all that life has to offer. It is so crazy to me for people to keep thinking that it is good to plan for the bad stuff to happen. Yes, we plan for fires. Oh, that means that we need to prepare for if somebody has a gun and holds it up to our head. Yeah, right. Like, when does that happen? When are you going to put yourself into a situation where you are in immediate danger due to a weapon held up to your head by another individual? When does this happen? Oh, but for the off 2% chance that this does happen, well, what about for the off 2% chance that I get eaten by a whale? Oh man, I think about those big gigantic whales that are in Nemo and they only eat krill, but for the longest time I thought that those gigantic things were going to eat people. I thought that they were carnivorous. I thought that they were dangerous. Them with their little soft hairbrush looking teeth, I thought that they would eat people. And for me, I always thought, oh, what about the off 2% chance that I have one of these toy whales that's swimming around in my tub? What if it comes to life and eats me in one big fell swoop, and then nobody will know what happens to me? You start getting paranoid when you start thinking about all the little, oh, what if? Like, come on, man. My ideal scenario for a video game is for there to be no bugs to begin with. The best thing about a video game is that you can see exactly how it works and make it be whatever you want it to be. There was an entire generation that passed us by who was in developmental process for all the video games for Game Boy. Maybe one of the best gaming series out there was all of the majorly released games for Game Boy. They had the brightest, most attuned colors because they studied color theory to the max. They were absolutely insane. They did not understand or allow flaws. They would look at it and they would see somebody who was in the process of being taught the mere basics of color crafting for games. It was the most unbelievable experience to plug in one of these Game Boy games, and on your tiny itty bitty little screen, you are filled with a world that is magical. A world that so many of us forget nowadays because we have all these high-class 4K PC, Xbox, and PlayStation yada yada games. But what about back then, when people were still doing great things because they studied hard and learned how things work together? Yeah, there are situations that we all go through that can be improved. Some of it is actually improved by color theory. Like the color blue being in light bulbs is something that reduces the crime around any given area. And this is a proven fact. They use it in Japan, then that goes out to the rest of the world. And now I see places which were once ridden with so much crime, it was scary to go out at night. And now here's people walking around the streets only scared of the cockroaches that are crawling around the scary sidewalks. It is absolutely nuts what learning about something and knowing how another thing works and putting it together and just making the stuff you want to make, it changes things. It changes things. So if you want to prepare for that one instance where some big gigantic orca swims in your bathtub, if you want to imagine the scenario of a porcupine nodding off all its little frills into your arm, when you live thousands of miles away from the nearest habitation of any sort of porcupine life, then yeah, then worry yourself to death because there's a bajillion things out there you can worry yourself with. Tons of things. You can learn about every single chemical in the periodic table and you can worry about, oh, what if this goes together? What if this goes together and how that's going to kill me? It's not going to help anything. You're not actually going to experience this stuff, and on the off chance that you do, which may be like a 0.0003% chance of actually ever occurring, then great. Great, I guess you're screwed. And even though you thought about all this stuff, it still didn't help you. Now, you're just gonna be living a walking terror. That's it. You know how many times I've been to a bar and I've had to deal with some dude who has a knife going, "Give me your wallet, give me your wallet." 0 times. But I learned from the individuals around me how to deal with stuff like that so that that situation would never happen to begin with. And let me tell you, being in a crowd may be annoying, sure. You may need to worry about pickpocketers, sure. You may need to worry about the advertisements on the side of the street and people yelling at you like, "Hey, get on the bus," or "Get out of the way." Maybe you need to worry about the cars driving by if you're riding on a bicycle. By the way, how are those guys still doing? Are they riding around, or are they still getting hit by gigantic moving vehicles? But just stay in the crowds because it's safe, and you don't get all these dudes walking up to you with knives and stuff and being like, "Give me your wallet." Because 20,000 other people around them are probably going to karate chop their forehead and knock the knife out of their hand and then stab them or push them down or punch them. The more the merrier, you know? Apes strong together, apes weak apart. That thing is like a legitimate theory. A theory that people decide to live their lives around. We all need each other because we all work together better when we're together. It's weird to think about, it shouldn't be a thing, but there is literally no way around it. Trust me. If you want to live by yourself and live in isolation, then you will go mad. You will go crazy. And one day you're gonna wake up super duper old and really, really sad and desperate to talk to anybody out there. So don't wait, man, don't wait. Don't put yourself in some stupid situation. Avoid the situation. Do I like how everything is run? No. Do I need to talk about how everything is run? Absolutely not. Do I see how this really big group is going to one day go down the gutter because they believe that the top dog should always be the one taking up all the spotlight? Absolutely, I think that's gonna happen. But am I gonna say something about it? Absolutely not, because I know nothing about that company. I know nothing about how it operates, what makes it good. None of that stuff. So therefore, if I were to speak on how to do any of these new things in like new ways, then I'm going to be looking like an absolute fool and I might do more damage than good. Why am I not talking about how to make sandwiches? Because I'm not a sandwich maker. I've tried to make sandwiches and I'm telling you, those ingredients are lengthy. I'm hoping that one day I can get the information to be able to handle making at least one of my own sandwiches. But for now, I am just a mere mortal standing before you, understanding nothing and being proud of it. But yeah, what do I think about getting put in a terrible situation and having to deal with a crisis beyond me? Huh. Well, I think that I wouldn't be there to begin with. But enjoy your day, and yeah, life's what you make it. See ya.